European football figures are criticizing FIFA's recent decision on the red card incident involving Fuller and Balogun. However, why it won't worry Gianni Infantino is clear. The controversy stems from calls made by U.S. President Donald Trump to FIFA officials ahead of the ruling. Infantino has led FIFA for 10 years and was installed after Blatter's resignation in 2016 due to a corruption scandal. "I'm the one that got them to do it," said Trump when asked if he influenced the decision. This underscores his role as a key player behind Infantino's continued leadership. The European backlash highlights concerns over transparency but does not change FIFA's standing under Infantino. The next steps will depend on how FIFA responds internally and any follow-up actions from European football bodies. Why European backlash over Trump intervention won't worry Infantino. Published Gianni Infantino has been FIFA president for 10 years. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte on Monday demanded that members put forward clear, concrete and credible plans to reach the organization's defense spending targets at its annual summit in Ankara. Rutte spoke in the Turkish capital ahead of the two-day summit starting on Tuesday at a crucial time for the alliance, with the United States scaling down its security role in Europe. "The evidence we see so far is impressive. The next diplomatic step is what leaders put on the summit record after the meetings." The Supreme Court has temporarily allowed the state of Texas to restrict minors from accessing app stores, pending ongoing legal challenges. This decision comes as lawsuits continue in lower courts regarding the law's enforceability. Supreme Court allows Texas to block minor access to app stores for now while litigation proceeds. The ruling permits enforcement until further notice when cases are resolved. Supreme Court lets Texas restrict minors' access to app stores for the time being. Under President Donald Trump, the immigration system has altered its treatment of spouses of U.S. citizens. Traditionally, these individuals have enjoyed a special status in immigration law. However, that is no longer the case according to officials and immigration lawyers. Spouses of U.S. citizens now face new policy changes under this administration's tenure. The shift reflects broader shifts in how immigrant families are treated within the system. Officials say these adjustments aim to streamline processes for other categories of immigrants while reducing resources available for spouses of U.S. citizens. The change has sparked debate among immigration advocates and legal experts, who argue that it could significantly impact thousands of individuals seeking entry into the country each year. The administration maintains that the policy reflects a broader reevaluation of immigration priorities, but does not provide details on how these changes will be implemented or enforced. Officials have stated there are no immediate plans to address this issue further at this time. This leaves many questions about its long-term implications unanswered. As the situation evolves, continued monitoring is advised for those affected by these policy shifts. Officials in Saginaw, Michigan, are proposing changes that would end a nearly half-century-old cap on property tax revenues. The move comes as city leaders look for ways to boost revenue and address budget shortfalls. The proposal aims to lift the long-standing restriction on how much local governments can collect from residential and commercial properties. If approved by voters or passed through municipal council, it could open up new avenues for funding public services like schools, infrastructure projects, and emergency response systems. City officials say ending the cap would allow them more flexibility in managing tax collections during economic downturns or periods of rapid growth. However, opponents argue that lifting limits on property taxes could lead to higher costs for residents and businesses over time. The City Council is expected to hold a public hearing next month, where community members can voice their support or opposition before any final decision is made. Until then, the proposal remains in preliminary stages with no clear timeline for implementation if it gains approval from voters or local officials. Despite facing significant political headwinds, the Ute Mountain Ute tribe in Colorado has successfully brought a major utility-scale solar project online. The tribal government's determination to advance clean energy infrastructure was evident as they navigated opposition and regulatory hurdles. The Ute Mountain Ute tribe secured approval for the large-scale solar installation, overcoming obstacles that included potential delays or cancellations due to political uncertainty surrounding renewable energy projects at both state and federal levels. Tribal leaders emphasized their commitment to achieving this milestone despite these challenges. Officials from the tribe's government stated they would continue working with local authorities to ensure compliance with all permitting requirements for future developments in clean energy infrastructure within Colorado. The project represents a significant step forward sustainable power generation on tribal lands. This demonstrates resilience and innovation amid ongoing political debates over renewable resources nationwide. The next diplomatic test is whether officials confirm the timeline, terms, or response that changes what happens on the ground.